When it comes to these last days that we're presently living in, we should understand that Yah has got everything timed exactly so. His timetable, his watch is precise, and he included you and I in these days on purpose. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10 Minute Torah, day number 4, Torah portion, Noach. As we come to the place now in the story that Noach and his family enter into the ark. They had been building this ark for some 100 plus years. Noach's sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, they had been raised in the ark construction business, felling trees, shaping the wood, and putting this ark together piece by piece. In the book of 2nd Kepha, or Peter, it says in chapter number 2 that Yah did not spare the world of old, but preserved Noach, a proclaimer of righteousness, and 7 others, bringing in the flood on the world of the wicked. So it would seem to be suggesting to us that while Noach was indeed building the ark, he was also a preacher, a proclaimer of the righteousness of Yah, and he only had 7 converts. Imagine that, preaching for over 100 years and having 7 people to show for it. Noah couldn't save the world, but he saved his family. There's a message there. There are those that have tried to save the world and lost their family in the process. It's important to reach out to others. It's important to make converts. It's important that people hear of the mercies of Elohim and respond to that. But not at the price of your wives, your husbands, your children. Your family comes first. Make sure that they're a part of the kingdom. In Noach's day, the world was divided between himself, this one lone Tzaddik, righteous man, his family, and then everybody else. In the movies, in the telling of this narrative as a children's bedtime story, the idea is that the world laughed at him. I don't know that the world paid a whole lot of attention to him. Here in the United States, someone built a replica of the ark in the state of Kentucky. The vast part of our nation has no clue that it even exists. They just simply don't care. They may have laughed at him locally, but the rest of the world, they just simply didn't care. Their lives went on as normal. Actually, there was another Tzaddik, another righteous man living in the earth, and for a while there were 2 other ones. There was Noach's father, Lamech, but there was his grandfather, Methuselah. Now, let's follow this out just a little bit. The book of Enoch and the book of Jubilees gives the accounting as the day that the flood came, or the beginning of the week that they entered into the ark, rather, was the day that Methuselah died. Let me get that straight. They went into the ark the day that Methuselah died. Think about this. Methuselah was 187 years old when his son Lamech was born. Lamech was 182 when Noach was born. 187 and 182 means that Methuselah was 369 years old when Noach was born. The flood began when Noach was 600 years. So 600 plus 369 is 969. Methuselah lived to be 969 years of age. Why did he have to die? Why didn't he get on the ark? Well, there is a principle in Scripture that it is the ability of a Tzaddik, a righteous person of a high level of righteousness, one who walks not only righteously, but has the ability to offer great levels of righteous influence. Abraham was a Tzaddik, and so he interceded for the cities of the plain. And he said, if there are 50 Tzaddiks in the city, will you save the cities? And Yah said, yes, for the sake of 50. 50 righteous people in those cities would have had the ability, through their righteous influence, to turn the cities around. Yah even got to the place where he said 10 are sufficient. There were not 10, there was one, and not a great Tzaddik at that. Only Lot was available. So there is this principle then that a Tzaddik can save others besides themselves. Yeshua the Messiah being the greatest Tzaddik of all time. Moshe was used as a Tzaddik to save a nation. Yeshua as a Tzaddik to save the earth, to save the world, potentially, for those that would be willing to accept that. So, Methuselah having great influence, great righteousness, it's possible that he and Noah could have saved more than the 7 who entered into the ark. When that did not happen, Methuselah died, leaving the Tzaddik status of Noach and he alone, perhaps his sons to some degree, perhaps his daughters-in-law and his wife to some degree. He saved his family, and that was all. It's up to you and I to understand that where we live, the communities that we're a part of, it's not happenstance. Yah puts us where we're supposed to be. Why do you live in one location as opposed to another? I've lived my entire life in the state of Virginia, but I have moved multiple times within this state, having lived in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cities now. And where I'm at currently, we have moved 3 times, or we moved in and then moved 2 additional times. Why am I on this road? Why am I a part of this local community? I never expected to be here for 22 years, and here I am. Yah's got something in mind. There's some righteous influence that I'm being called on to exert and to exhibit into my community. That means that when I go to the grocery store, I can't be angry at the world. I need to put a smile on my face and act like I've got some joy about myself. If I go into Walmart, of all places, I don't like going into Walmart. But if I'm in there, a frown serves nobody any righteous good. So I keep reminding myself, put a smile on your face, sir. Act like you've got some joy. Believe that you do have a reason for joy and rejoice. Make somebody's day. Offer a kind word. Do a good turn to somebody. Do a mitzvot for someone. Be a blessing. Because if you want to be a tzaddik, then there needs to be some righteous influence from your life. The days where you and I can hide out in our personal endeavors of doing the kingdom work and building our ark and minding on our own business, those days are over. We need to live out loud. So you are a teacher, a preacher, a singer, a giver, administrator, whatever it is that you do and however you serve the kingdom, do it in such a way that it begins to have rippling effects, waves of righteousness overflowing to other people's lives because people need us. We live in a day like Noach. It's bad, it's violent, it's greedy, it's corrupt to the core. In this gross world of gross darkness, there needs to be some folks who are light. And it has fallen to you and to me to be the light. And you may say, well, the darkness is just overwhelming. But in the greatest darkness, it doesn't take much light to be noticed. Be a spark of light. Go spark somewhere. Venture outside the security of your domain and go find a place to have righteous influence, to encourage. Look at someone who's upset, hiding behind their mask, and smile at them. And if that means you got to pull it down for a moment, grin at them, put it back. They may be wondering, what righteous thing you might be up to. We'll talk tomorrow a little bit more. Until then, shalom.